We are finally in 2021. 2020 is behind us, and with this new year, we have a whole different set of expectations for the NBA season. And as you can tell from the title of the video, it's time for me to give my bold predictions about what's going to happen over the next 365 days. But before we go any further, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Manscape. Have you ever been walking around and you've been wondering, man, I've been bleeding from my balls, bruh. It's been getting too much. You're shaving it, it's always cutting up, and you just cannot find the right solution. Well, look no further. Manscape has found you. Manscape has redesigned its electric trimmer, and the engineering team has spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, and it's just released its new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. When I tell you this is a premium, I'm so serious. This is a straight-up premium. They gave the battery more life, as this time it lasts 90 minutes, so it gives you a longer time to shave. They also have waterproof technology that allows you to groom yourself in the shower. One of the coolest improvements and new features has to be the addition of the LED light. Not only does it provide a nice aesthetic, but it also illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And if you're looking for how you're going to be able to charge it up, there are no batteries. There is a charging stand that you could use. You can mower off loud and proud because of the intelligently designed stand is a very convenient charging dock powered by a USB. If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience this firsthand for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and get that trim, and if you're not fully convinced, you're gonna get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MUSTARD23 at manscaped.com. Trust me, your balls will thank you. But without further ado, let's get back to the topic at hand and talk about our bold predictions for the 2021 year in the NBA. Starting off with the first prediction, let's just hop right into it. I think that Ben Simmons and James Harden are going to be traded for each other at some point throughout this season, if not at the end of the season, because it just seems too perfect of a trade for all parties involved. Sure, on the Sixers side of things, you will lose some defense with Ben Simmons, as he's one of the greatest defensive players in the game today, potentially is on his way to win his first ever defensive player of the year this year. He's been sensational on that side of the ball, but I don't think people understand how much of an offensive liability he can be, especially, and I mean especially, put an emphasis on the half court, because I hear so many people say you're going to be losing playmaking with a guy like Simmons and his vision as well as his defense, and the defense I give to you, but as far as his playmaking goes, is his playmaking really elite? Yes, we know he's great in transition, he can make the right reads there, but in the half court, he's useless if he doesn't have the ball. And we've seen throughout his entire run with the Sixers in the playoffs how he gets exposed every single year. And sure, you could say this year is a little bit different with shooters, but we saw what happened the last time they had shooters in JJ Redick, and let's not forget they still lost in the second round. And sure, you could say that shot was a little bit lucky, but to be fair, Ben Simmons did not have the greatest series in the world. It was Jimmy Butler that was going back and forth with Kawhi Leonard. But to go and get James Harden, who you could put on that team and he would be a perfect match in any type of offense that you want to run. You want him to do pick and rolls with Joel Embiid, he can do that. You want him to play make in transition, he can do that. You want him to ISO and create his own shot, he can do that. All of those things Ben Simmons just can't do, and I think the offensive gain is way more than the defensive loss that you're going to have without Ben Simmons. I just personally believe it's too perfect of a match to have James Harden in Philly, and for the Rockets side of things, it would be a perfect match made in heaven to get Ben Simmons, because I do believe they're going to trade John Wall sometime in the future. You just can't have that contract on your roster, and with the way that he's playing, it's going to be more likely for them to find a suitor out there for for John Wall because of the fact that he looks like he has not missed a single step. I know it's early in the season, but John Wall right now looks fantastic, and if that's the case, you can move him, get even a little bit more assets, and just build your team around Ben Simmons. They have Christian Wood, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, Eric Gordon, and just a plethora of guys that can space the floor around a guy like Ben Simmons, and I think that's the perfect way that the Rockets can start their rebuild. But moving on to the next organization and team that we got with the prediction, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves because I think it's inevitable that Karl Anthony Towns will demand a trade in 2021. Currently, the Timberwolves are 2-4, and I do not believe they're going to make the playoffs. Everything that I've seen this season is not even factoring into why I think they're not going to make it. I just think that they're a terrible defensive team. We've seen it this season, but we also saw it last year, and I think a lot of people knew it was going to be a problem coming into this year, as they don't really have any outstanding defenders on their roster outside of just a couple of names like Josh Okogie. Jarrett Culver's a solid defender, Ricky Rubio, but again, like I said earlier, the list really stops there, as Malik Beasley, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, neither of those three are great defenders, and though they do have the #1 overall pick in Anthony Edwards on their team, he's only a rookie, so I don't really put too much stock in his capabilities and his potential impact this season. And when you combine that with the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is 25 years of age and will be turning 26 by the end of this year, I just don't really see how he would want to stay in a situation like that when he's only made the playoffs one time throughout his entire duration with that organization, and it's just clear that they are inept when it comes to building a team around him that can compete in the Western Conference. And I think this year will be the final straw for him, as it should be, because I'm tired of seeing Karl Anthony Towns and players like him, because some of these organizations just don't care about winning and they just want to stay relevant by selling tickets to their fans. That's just really how it is with some of these small market teams. They just don't really care about winning games and only care about making money. But moving on to our next prediction, on the topic of people not winning games, it's time to talk about the Wizards, because the Wizards have been going through a really terrible slump right now. Currently, they are 2-5. They did just beat the Brooklyn Nets, so props to them for doing that. But let's just be honest, this team has not been going in the right direction. I've talked about Russell Westbrook in a past video. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. This really might be his last opportunity. Bradley Beal has been hooping this year offensively speaking, though his three-point shot has been kind of suspect. But aside from that, the real issue with this team is defense. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them because we all know they suck on defense. They're 25th in defensive rating and 28th in opponents' points per game, but they're 2nd in points per game and they're 11th in offensive rating. They are a great offensive team, but they just can't seem to stop anybody. Thomas Bryant looks lost out there on every single possession, and unless they make some drastic moves to the roster, I just don't see how they're going to make the playoffs. So yeah, that's my prediction. The Wizards will miss the playoffs in 2021 due to the fact that their defense is just atrocious. They are so bad, and this should show everybody that no matter how great your offense is, if you don't even have just somewhat of a stable defense, it's almost impossible to win games. And I think we all know defense wins championships, but this situation is really just another reminder of how important that side of the ball is when it comes to the game of basketball. Moving on to our next prediction, this one I'm going to take into a little bit of a different turn, because with the return of John Wall and Kevin Durant looking like their old selves, and they have not missed a beat whatsoever so far this season, it really makes me question, how are we going to look at Achilles injuries and any injury of any kind moving forward in the NBA and in sports in general? Because it doesn't seem like so long ago where Achilles injuries were like a death sentence to NBA players' careers and athletes' careers in general. But it seems like we're having these anomalies of guys like KD and John Wall. Also look out for DeMarcus Cousins and Rodney Hood as the season progresses to see how they look after their injuries. But I just can't help but feel that these are not quote-unquote anomalies anymore, that these have become the norm. Maybe technology with medicine and all of that has advanced to the point that injuries like an Achilles injury can be recovered from with proper treatment. And if that's the case, it really starts to make me question just how great is Klay Thompson going to be when he comes back. Because sure, Klay is coming off of an Achilles injury and an ACL injury back to back, I might add, but he did have a lot of time to recover from that ACL injury. And when you consider Klay's play style, it's not like he's going out there creating his own shot. He's really just a catch and shoot, spot up type of guy. And if your questions are on the defensive side of the ball, I can understand that because lateral quickness can be affected due to injuries and rust. But for some reason, I just have this new sense of hope seeing guys like John Wall and KD come back, and they have not missed a beat. Even in the case of John Wall, his defense still looks fairly competent, and Klay Thompson was an elite defender when we last saw him, so there's a good chance that Klay could come back and get back to what he used to be. Moving on to our next and final prediction, I'm just gonna let the cat out the bag. I think the Lakers are going to go back to back. I think the addition of Marc Gasol has given them another dynamic, especially in the area of playmaking. Sure, defensively he is not what he used to be, and as a player he is definitely not what he used to be, but I think the offensive versatility that he provides for them in the front court in replacement of Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee makes their offense completely different. And considering the fact that it's only been a couple of months since they won their last championship, I think they're coasting as far as the regular season goes, and they're using this time to build chemistry among their players. You see the effect that it's had on a guy like Kyle Kuzma, and I think that once playoff time comes, the duo of LeBron and Anthony Davis will once again answer the challenge and defeat all comers. I'm not going to rule out everybody completely. I'm not saying it's just going to be a cakewalk to the finals, but I just don't think there's any type of answer for the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the chemistry that they have built. It's easy for a big and a non-big to build chemistry because neither of them take away from each other's strengths or add on to each other's weaknesses. They complement each other perfectly. And when you factor in they're arguably the two best players in the league today with a supporting cast that is very competent and well tested, as a lot of them have won a championship before in the past, I think they are more than equipped to be able to win another championship and go back to back. But that concludes this video, you guys. Make sure you follow me on social media. The links are down below in the description box. Also hit that subscribe button if you enjoy what you see from this channel, and push the bell for post notifications. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes. Y'all stay safe and have a great day. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Peace.